Welcome back. The Ministry of Commerce, International Trade, Investment, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs, in collaboration with other public and private sector partners, has officially launched a rebranded buy local campaign dubbed Love St Lucia. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce spoke on the importance of the initiative. Jacques Wooding has more.
Stakeholders met on June 30th at the Financial Center to unveil the newly rebranded Love St Lucia Buy Local campaign. This development has come at a time where heavy focus is being placed on food security and the generation of economic opportunities. As explained by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Sophia Henry, the goal of Love St Lucia is to build resilience in the economy by encouraging hobby farming and maximizing the potential of local industry.
An important feature of the campaign is to encourage households to grow more of what they eat and share the surplus. Of equal importance is to increase the consumption of St. Lucian goods and services by visitors, irrespective of the purpose of the visit. They must fall in love with our island, people, goods, and services. My ministry is of the firm view that the success of this campaign will depend greatly on 1, the involvement of all stakeholders, and 2, a change in mindset of our people towards appreciating and consuming what is ours.
Henry went on to explain that Love St Lucia also aims to improve customer awareness and expand the local domestic market share of local manufacturers and service providers across the board.
This campaign serves to drive an increase in sales revenue and profits of local manufacturers and service providers. This will result in employment creation and economic stabilization, and ultimately have a multiplier effect in our local economy. The campaign will also inform manufacturers and service providers of the varying needs and preferences of the consumer and further assist them in responding to those needs. We are determined to ensure that all sectors benefit from this campaign.
For further information or to get involved in the Love St Lucia campaign, members of the public are asked to kindly contact the Ministry of Commerce via telephone. The contact numbers are 468-4238 and 468-4218. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
The Black Lives Matter movement is applying pressure to have law reform in many countries, especially in the U.S. The sister of Botham Jean spoke with Hot 7 TV News about the success of the Black Lives Matter movement and the work that is still left to be done.
The Black Lives Matter movement has amassed a large following and is advocating and agitating for a stop to police brutality against people of color as well as other injustices towards blacks stemming from racism. The Jeux family was thrust into the spotlight when an off-duty white cop killed Botham Jean in his Dallas apartment. The family says, slowly but surely, change is taking place in the United States of America. President of the Sisters of the Movement, the Botham Jean Foundation, and the sister of Botham Jean, Alyssa Findlay, has indicated that the change on the grounds of America are not revolutionary, but they are happening.
Yes, there has been change because after the protests took place for George Floyd, we've had attorneys being invited to the Senate to testify. We've had policies being put in place for police reform. We're still in talks right now with the Senate for more change when it comes to the legislation. So, yes, we have seen change. It is not drastic change, but it is change to the right direction. So I think the pressure still has to be applied. We should still be out there protesting. We should still be forcing the conversation so that we can see change that is significant for us.
Botham Jean's mother, Alison Jean, says after all the riots, protests, and uprising, there needs to be serious sensitization of the public as well as debriefing of all those affected. But she says change has begun.
I'm heartened at what I'm seeing in the United States. In the case of Botham, you've heard of the Botham Jean law being contemplated. There is the Breonna Taylor law, which prevents police officers from entering people's houses without knocking. They banned chokeholds completely as a form of subduing individuals who they're trying to arrest. So over the United States, you're seeing that a lot of change is happening.
She commended corporate America for joining forces with the people and endorsing messages against police brutality. Je says, in St. Lucia, people need to also begin speaking out on injustices. She is also calling out for partisan politics to be removed from serious social issues. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
As fishermen all over the island celebrated Fishermans Feast on Monday, the 29th of June, the Department of Fisheries expressed its appreciation for local fishers. Acting fisheries biologist Yvonne Edwin also explained that the safety of fishermen out at sea is of paramount importance to the department, and as such, she urged fishers to abide by the rules set out for their protection. The Feast of St. Peter, more commonly known as Fisherman's Feast or Fête Péchère, was not celebrated with as much pomp and ceremony as is customary due to COVID-19. Acting fisheries biologist Yvonne Edwin explained that while the usual set of activities to mark this celebration could not be undertaken, it was still encouraging to see fishermen come out to receive their blessings on Monday morning.
But this year what we're seeing is sort of a restricted and limited in terms of what they would commonly do on this day. The church service, as we saw, the numbers were not in the numbers that would be any cooperative would expect, but still encouraging. A lot of fishers came out, they received their blessing. Unfortunately, they cannot have their usual parade, but the priest will be going to the landing site to bless the boats. Again, all common features of a Fisherman's Feast. As a department, the Department of Fisheries is always happy, as I said, to be part of these activities.
One fisherman, MacArthur Farwell, indicated that Fisherman's Feast is a wonderful gesture to celebrate a noble profession. He explained that there are many dangers involved in this livelihood.
As the bishop quite rightly said, we are involved in one of the most dangerous professions. And as a result, we have to depend on God for protection every time we go out there. Sometimes you go out there, the sea is calm, and then all of a sudden it gets rough, and you have to decide whether to stay or run. Of course, you can't run in the sea, you have to fly out of it. And I think it's a noble profession. There are stories about people who are not genuinely fishermen, but we know you get bad doctors, you get bad teachers, you get bad policemen, you get them in all forms of life. And the odd fisherman may not be what you would like him to be, but the majority of fishermen are loving people, they're brave, adventurous, and honest, especially when it comes to giving their customers their 16 ounces a pound.
Farwell indicated that post-COVID-19, he would love to see the feast return to what it was. According to Edwin, Fisherman's Feast has been celebrated in St. Lucia for more than 30 years. She urged fishers to continue fishing sustainably as they are providing much-needed food to society. She also appealed to fishers to get registered, as well as to ensure that their equipment is inspected.
Each fisher or vessel is required to have all of the safety equipment, and the department, what we do is we inspect those to ensure that, of course, they're in working condition, and if they're expired, to be renewed. You mentioned the flares and all of these things, they would have to be in working condition for them to pass the inspection.
Edwin also spoke to fishers not being able to get appropriate equipment to navigate the waters. She says they should contact the fisheries department in order to receive guidance on where they can purchase the right equipment. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Sports and weather are coming up after the break.